Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Questionable Album Club, the podcast where this beautiful panel of music fans we attempt to blow the dust off some of rock's curios, failures, and generally perceived missteps. Here is our top 10. It's the strangest top 10. I guess I wonder if we should find if someone actually has this as their actual top 10. Here is our top 10, the leaderboard that we're trying to get onto tonight. Who hasn't read it out so far? Who's going to read this out? Hack it.
Yeah, Steve.
Number 10, Joni Mitchell, Doggy Dog. Number 9, Motorhead, Manticore Tapes. 8, Grinding Man. 2, can't believe that. And Slade Hates Us All, whatever the fuck that is. Van Halen is number 6. Rolling Stones, Satanic Majesties, number 5. And I have to say, I agree with Steve. This probably should be number 1, but yes, Drama is number 4. The Doors of Soft Parade's number 3. Happy Mondays, Yes Please, is still at number 2, which I'm very pleased about. And Rick Wakeman, the Merry Wives of Windsor, Six Wives of Henry VIII.
Thank you, Steve. That was somewhat disrespectful, but that's okay. Well done. Got through it. On the panel today, we've got you, Steve Hackett. Thank you very much for that lovely rundown. Your comments. We've got Steve Gibson. Hi, Steve.
Good evening.
We've got Ross English. Hello, Ross.
Good evening, everybody.
And can I just say, we've got, look, who does that remind you of? This is Al Jardine, right, in the Beach Boys. Separated at birth, right, Marcus?
Looks a bit like me, doesn't he? He does.
It's very much like you. Very much like you.
Uncanny.
Yeah, it's kind of uncanny. And here he is now. It's really uncanny.
Well,
we've actually got one of the
Beach, isn't it?
We've got one of the Beach Boys on the panel today. So congratulations, Marcus.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I'm honoured.
Steve, and my name is Seb Hunter. Steve Gibson, this was your choice today. It's the Beach Boys. Hang on, Christ! It's the Beach Boys. I'll just wear it very briefly, and then you can explain why. This is "Summer in Paradise" by the Beach Boys from 1992, their 27th studio album, produced by Terry Melcher, who was the famously produced all the Byrds records. And the only album they ever released without any involvement from Brian Wilson whatsoever. Of course, his involvement became very hit and miss as the 80s, 70s and 80s because of his mental health issues and so on. Instead, during this record and the one before, around this period, Mike Love sort of took control and it became very much Mike Love's band. And he had very much a different idea of what the Beach Boys should be to what Brian Wilson did. With hilarious results, as they say. So, this was the one after the one with Kokomo. I thought I did have this one, but I didn't have this one. I only went up to Keeping the Summer Alive was the last one I had on CD. But the one before this was Still Cruising, which was the one with Kokomo on it. And this is the one that didn't have Kokomo on it. But this, and it didn't chart anywhere. It was a real disaster. It got completely critically panned, didn't chart anywhere in the world, and has never been reissued on CD and is still unavailable. There were 5 singles released from it, incredibly. We'll probably go into that later. Steve, do you want to explain why you chose this?
Well, it's been the weather. I don't know where you all are today. The weather's been, winter has come, dank, drizzly day. We've had a long, hard year on the panel. So I thought, why not some summer sunshine and fun for everybody? Fun, fun, fun till Daddy takes the shotgun away, as Billy Bragg says. So, much to my displeasure, this is fucking an abomination of an album. This is the worst album I've ever heard. And I'm not going to go on about how I used to like, the nice singles and all the rest of it. So what I don't understand is how, because I like the Beach Boys, I like the hits, and I like listening to the singing and all the rest of it that everybody else does. And even Frank Zappa said about Little Deuce Coupe, there's a cadence in there that was one of the most exciting things that had happened in popular music up to that time. So how did this happen is really what I want to know. I'm interested in. But you can take I like California Girls, blah, 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 all that old stuff. Yeah, it's fine. But I don't understand what's going on here. So I thought it would be a worthy discussion. If someone could please explain. It's got to be the biggest. It has to be. I was trying to think today of a worse album I've heard, and I can't. And I can't think of a bigger fall from a major band, a major creative force at some point. I've not heard a bigger fall. And
well, Steve, can I just say, context is all, mate. I mean, there was a very, very, very. This was very much coming. If you listen to Still Cruising, right, which is what we've got next week, it's very much in a page. You know what I mean? It's kind of they've been doing this sort of stuff for quite a while. But this was the first album ever recorded on Pro Tools.
Yeah. So and it was not. It's not a great advert. I mean, the drum sound is just horrendous. Everything's.
Hey, we're going, this is too much. This is too much too soon, Steve. You were supposed to say why you chose the album, not say it's the worst album of all time before anyone else had a chance.
I did. Just to say, give us all a bit of, sunny fun time in this dreary winter. But it's backfired immeasurably because this is awful. And I'll talk. I can talk for ages about how awful it is. So don't worry. I've got plenty more to say.
Okay, right. Thank you very much, Steve. Well, don't hide your light under a bushel. Steve Hackett, did this? Do you like the Beach Boys, and where does this stand in your top 5 Beach Boys albums?
It doesn't. Obviously, I like the Beach Boys. Growing up in Middlesbrough, in the 70s, just surrounded by sunshine, surf and beautiful women in bikinis. I have a massive affinity for it. I think we're probably twinned with Monterey or something like that.
That's a good intro. Ross, what did you? Ross, are you a Beach Boys fan?
Yeah, they're really sort of important to me because when I was like 12, 13 years old, and I bought a radio cassette alarm clock, and it was the first time I could have music in my room, so music could be mine. I had 2 cassettes that I played just until they died, and I used to fall asleep to them, and one of them was the Beach Boys' 20 Golden Greats, so they were like a really, really important band for me. And we can bang on about quite rightly about the genius of Brian Wilson, but I'm a really big fan of Dennis Wilson's songwriting. I love his solo LP, and I think in the non-Brian Wilson bits in that catalogue, that when the songs stand up, and I like it generally, Dennis Wilson's had something to do with them. So no, very, very, very important band to me.
Yeah, luckily Dennis Wilson was long dead by the time they made this.
Yes,
Marcus, despite your doppelganger to Al Jardine, are you a Beach Boys man?
Special place in my heart, Seb, because first gig ever. Yeah, jaws hit the floor. The first band I ever saw live was the Beach Boys, 1983 in Vancouver at the Megadome. It's a football stadium, and a covered football stadium. I've never seen the likes of before. Vancouver Whitecaps played something or other. And what I do remember of the football match was that Alan Ball was playing in the latter part of his playing career. There we go. Something for everybody, for the Saints fans and the Pompey fans on this podcast.
That's everybody.
And then weirdly, the football match finished, and then the Beach Boys came on. They're like pulled out a stage into the middle of the pitch, and a bit like a sort of, they do at the Super Bowl, where it's kind of the stage comes out on wheels and some speakers and all that stuff. And they did about an hour set and played all the hits. It's when they were all big beards in those days in the 80s. That was the kind of look they went for, in Hawaiian shirts, put on a bit of timber, but who doesn't? And it was magical. It was I think basically, Ross, they played the 20 Golden Greats album, whatever it's called. So we were pleased as punch. And I was 14, I think. Yeah, 14 or 15 years old. So it made quite an impression on me. We had a cassette kicking around the house as well, another greatest hits. So I'm not a deep fan. I love the singles. I've got Pet Sounds, and obviously that's the work of genius, but I don't go any deeper than that. So I've now heard sort of 2 Beach Boys albums in their entirety: Pet Sounds and this one.
I once saw Gene Simmons sing the national anthem at a sporting game, but it didn't have the same effect on me. So.
That's Marcus, out of interest, was Brian Wilson? I presume Brian Wilson wasn't in the band when that was happening.
I don't know. I should look up the kind of timeline actually of who was in where. They normally do in Wikipedia that sort of graph thing, don't they? Of when people drop in and out the band.
Brian Wilson came and went. Sometimes he was healthy enough to play with them. Sometimes he wasn't.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes he would just contribute to their studio work. He stopped playing live with them in the 60s, which is why how Dennis Johnson came to be in the band. So, but he would always kind of get involved in songwriting and the production and whatever, because they needed him, because he was this constant producer of music and songs, which they continued to mine.
Well, I expect for him, the prospect of doing a gig after a football match in a Astrodome probably didn't really push his
Well,
buttons, I would have thought.
well, I mean, no, true. He didn't like playing live unless he was sort of forced to, like literally sort of pushed on stage, you know. Steve Hackett, I apologise for interrupting your tales of your blissful Middlesbrough childhood, but presumably you're old enough to remember the Beach Boys from their early iteration.
Time around, of course, Seb, of course. So yeah, post that greatest hits, which is sort of all you need for that period, isn't it? I think. Obviously, Pet Sounds. Not really a lot you can say about Pet Sounds. You can't not like that album. It's the only one of their albums I think that is a bona fide classic. But then you've got that beautiful stuff from the 70s, the early 70s. Surf's Up, you know, and Sunflower, and what's the other one called?
Who knows?
Not Holland, is it? One of those things. But, you know, and that's as far as I've gone, just those albums. I know nothing after Holland and Sunflower and that sort of thing. I think that, you know, fans have been well served, really, haven't we? I'm sure you'd agree, Seth. Those beautiful box sets that came out, that Sail on Sailor thing, just absolutely everything from that period.
Yeah,
truly amazing. And the Smile one, of course. I gather you were at I was at the Smile concert in Bournemouth on my own near the front. So excited when he played with that. Brilliant pickup band, wasn't it? They're absolutely great, whatever they were called.
It was a band that had been with him for ages. Jeffrey Foskett, I think, played. It was the band called the Wondermints, where the kind of core of his touring band, and they expanded, you know, exponentially with because he was doing it for a long time. Yeah, I mean, this is funny to me because I was a massive Beach Boys obsessive for like a long time. I've had probably in my life, I've had two artists who I've been obsessed with to a point of unhealthiness and seen. I saw Brian Wilson live. I've probably seen him live probably over 50 times probably, and I went all over. I saw all the Pet Sounds, I saw all the Smile things, went to the Royal Festival Hall. I went to Birmingham to see him. I've just sort of went, you know, I've got so many bootlegs and stuff, with all now on YouTube, of course. And so, yeah, this is weird for me, kind of going, but I haven't really, because, you know, with when you're obsessed with an artist so much, you kind of you suck all the joy out of it. I sort of, that's behind me now. I've no need to listen to Brian Wilson or Beach Boys for years, because it's just like I've done that. I've inhabited it. I've spent loads of money on it, and now
You live through it.
Exactly. So this has been really weird for me. You know, I didn't know this record at all. I sort of got off because before Spotify, you kind of had to buy stuff, right? And so I remember the 80s. The 80s came around. The last good Beach Boys album was probably LA Light album, which had it doesn't matter. Good timing. Ross, are you a big fan of it? Where do you get off the Beach Boys?
Well, me?
Yeah.
They're extremely important.
You do all this. You got to what point did you stop buying?
I think so, I would struggle to name you much after Sunflower.
Oh, okay. So you don't do Carl and the Passions So Tough. You don't do Holland. You don't do that stuff.
Carl and the Passions, I know, not particularly well, but no, after that, no.
Okay. So as a sort of obsessive and buying stuff that I knew I wouldn't like, I didn't do Still Cruising, the one before this. I got off at Keeping So Alive, which was their Nidia at the time, but these two, Still Cruising and this, are they're so bad I didn't really know about them because they're not available. I couldn't buy them on CD, and they were sort of Brian Wilson wasn't involved. So who Steve?
He was in that. We can't talk too much longer without talking about the video. And
can I just explain? Yeah, I think the thing is because Mike Love was the cousin of the Wilson brothers, right? And they're from a place called Hawthorne, California, a suburb of LA. And Mike Love was the sort of singer. He used to sing a lot, but he wasn't really. He was always very. He's the kind of Gene Simmons, if you like, of the Beach Boys. Sort of massive ego, not much talent, but just it was all about the money and the women and stuff. And he was always resentful of the songs about cars and girls and surfing and stuff. With the early stuff that made the money and the hits. When they got a bit more baroque and a bit more adventurous musically. Mike Love really resented it, and Pet Sounds, which is the big adventurous avant-garde, when it didn't chart as well, Mike Love was, well, of course it didn't chart because it's not about girls and So there was always this thing, right? Brian Wilson, who of course eventually had severe mental health issues, and they had a really interesting creative, fertile 70s. But eventually Mike Love got control of the band, and this is what he did, So Steve, do you want to talk about the video?
In the video though. He's in the video.
Who is?
Brian Wilson.
Oh, he's literally wheeled out. He's
wheeled him on there.
He's sitting on a chair on the beach.
Did they tell him where they were going? Because he's not dressed for the beach.
No. It looks like what it is. It looks like what it is. He's been wheeled out, drugged up and wheeled out or whatever, given some lithium and, told to sit still.
But they would do that to him on stage. They would push him on stage and he'd sit there looking like, you see videos of him looking just completely like,
yeah, I remember seeing it. At Glastonbury, he looks a bit like that. They wheeled him on, and there was just a bank of singers doing all the work, and he was just sat there looking into space, thinking.
He got healthier after when he started doing live stuff at Sounds. I mean, he never really. He had this doctor called Eugene Landy who was a quack who was very, very bad for him and gave him so many drugs. He was under this regime. He wasn't allowed to do this. He wasn't allowed to do this, and he was completely under his control. And it was a very weird and it's a very complicated story. But back to Mike Love. Do you want to talk about the video, the Baywatch video?
Yeah, I just again. I mean, I'm struggling to. I don't like to come on here and find and not say anything positive about the album, and I can't with this. And the video. I mean, it's a bit of a U-tree situation. I mean, there's a man clearly in his mid to late 50s, talking about shacking up with, and the lyrics, it's just so, it's one of the cringiest things I've seen from one of the worst albums I've ever heard.
Steve, he's not singing, he's rapping.
Well, whatever he's doing. I think that's an insult to anyone who can actually rap, probably.
It was written for Bart Simpson, I think. Literally.
Was it?
Yeah.
But the Simpsons eventually turned it down. It was going to be a duet. It was going to be a hip hop battle between Bart Simpson and Mike Love, but the Simpsons decided not to.
Well, that really, there's not much more to say. Who's the actor?
Turned down by a puppet. I mean,
there was an actor that was in and out of the band as well at that point. I was reading about
John Stamos.
Yeah, and
he sings forever. The last song on the album.
I think he wanted to. The way it was explained to me was that he. It was a kind of symbiotic relationship, whereas he loved the Beach Boys and wanted to be in the Beach Boys, and Mike Love saw him as a kind of young, hot actor he could sort of leech on the back of. So it was a bit of a.
And he's playing drums. He's playing drums in the video.
Yeah,
with his sunglasses on, doing.
Is that what you call it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a model. Yeah.
But he sings the last song on the album, Ross, you'll know, which is Forever, which is the beautiful song that Dennis's song on Sunflower, which is a beautiful, beautiful song, which I think is hilarious until the Brian May Queen guitar comes in on this one, the key change. I was dreading this. I was thinking, fucking hell, they're doing Forever. Forever's coming.
The covers as well. The covers are dreadful, obviously. And there's another guy, another reviewer I was reading said he's so egotistical. There's a song about the environment, and the first two verses is just about about him in the Beach Boys. Even the whole world crumbling is not enough for him to write.
That's Summer in Paradise, written by Mike Love, that Mike Love sings, which also references Kokomo.
Yeah. It's incredible. But yeah, I'm really. I mean, it's an extraordinary album on every level, and not in a good way. Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. That's all right. Sorry, I think we're all sort of, I think, I don't think you're going to be the only one thinking this, Steve. Ross, can you just, when you listen to this, were you thinking, oh yes, I'm getting my Beach Boys serotonin vibes here, man. This is.
Well, it's strange because there's a first sort of 20 seconds in a few of the tracks, but you're thinking, okay, we're back in 1962. Here we go, and. Yeah, and then lyrically, it just gets really odd. I'd agree with you, Stephen. With 50-year-old people shouldn't be singing around, where all the girls are. But also the song, "When I Touch My Baby, Something Strange Happens." It's like the mind boggles, But so I don't know. There's in a certain points, there's a certain verve to it, which I was like, but it didn't really last sort of more than 20 or 30 seconds in the song. I don't quite get what. The logic here is in terms of, is it just we don't have very many songs, so we're going to pick a couple of old ones and what should we do with them? I know, let's overproduce them to the point of bizarreness. And this is not 1986. This is this is into the 90s. This sort of production values is almost outdated then, I would say. And you know, because I was waiting for forever and thinking this is going to not save the album, but this is going to be that. And then, God, he pours all this, I don't know, all this production all over it. So yeah, I don't quite get the logic other than we need some money, we haven't got enough songs, which I assume is the thing. I'm interested in what you're saying, Seb, about the whole sort of, you know, Mike Love Pet Sounds thing, because he's touring it next year.
Who is?
Well, the Beach Boys with Mike Love and Bruce Johnson. They're touring Pet Sounds next year.
They're not.
They are, and they're coming to Southampton.
Oh my God!
But it's sort of say because like normally when the main creative spark is no longer there, and you think why are they still playing? But of course, you know, Brian Wilson was hardly ever there live anyway. So I suppose that, you know, they're just carrying on and doing what they do.
Yeah,
The
Join us.
where are they playing, Ross?
Off the top of my head, it might be the Guildhall, but I don't know. I'd have to have a look.
I thought
Does Mike Love really not have enough money? He really needs to come to Southampton.
Yep.
So weird. That's really weird.
Question album club trip.
Yeah, maybe.
No.
Do you know, I wasn't going to mention this, but I saw, as you know, Steve, because you've never let me forget it, I saw, when I was at the height of my obsession, I saw Mike Love's Beach Boys at Hyde Park supporting Status Quo. I went on my own. And I left after the Beach Boys. I didn't even stay for Quo because I was that kind of. I thought,
so he says.
Yeah. I wish I'd seen him. And now I think I wish, you know, Rick Parfitt's dead. I wish I'd stayed. It would have been better. And it was terrible. They had Hawaiian shirts on. They didn't give a shit.
The most amazing thing about that band is that the keyboard player, the captain, who went on to being Captain and Tennille, he goes by the name the Captain when his real name's Daryl Dragon. If your name's Daryl Dragon, why do you call yourself anything else when you're in show business?
It didn't sort of fit the type of music that Captain and Tennille were doing at the time, I think.
Marcus, this sort of vibe, this sort of album seems to me like the perfect album for you. What did you think?
Perfect album for Kingwell. Yeah, well, it brought back memories of 1983. No, I'm with Ross actually. I listened to this with sympathy, and I got a few seconds of each tune with a bit of a tingle, a bit of reminiscence. You know, they refer to old song titles, and they bring in a bit of a melody or a riff or whatever apart from an old song. So there's that sort of nostalgia and reminiscence that comes back, because I probably haven't listened to a Beach Boys song properly for, I don't know, 20 years or something. So I did get that thing of, oh yeah, maybe this is the song where the album turns around and it gets better. But of course you get into the songs and then they throw in these 1980s tricks that come along, like just when you think it couldn't get any worse, the sax solo comes in, you know, with all the effects on it. And it's like, please no. Or the one with the guitar solo, but the guitar solo is really quiet in the mix. That's sort of like it's being played a bit further away in a tunnel. And I don't know why they mix stuff like that. The only good thing about it is the drumming, which I thought was absolutely rock solid all the way through. Tick tock, all the way, start to finish.
It's a great snare sound, isn't it?
It's amazing snare sound. I mean, they must have really worked on that one. Must have, yeah, it's up there with Sanaga. It's the old box full of gravel, you know, being whacked with a hammer. Really primitive. Yeah, and then, I mean, we're being lectured about the environment by a multimillionaire at the end who's probably flying on private jets. It's just laughable, really. I did 2 listens and that was all I could do. Because it was on YouTube, I couldn't sort of see the track listing in the normal way. So I can't really comment about each song. It just sort of was all poor. But I wouldn't say it's the worst song on the Questionable Album Club. And well, we'll come to that with scores, obviously. But I think there's things I've disliked more.
I sort of agree. I found it a sort of methadone version of what the Beach Boys, to me, because of the Pro Tools, there was no bottom end to it. There were hardly any mids. It was just a sort of a massive, like an album that sounded like pastel foam. Everything there were no amplifiers. All the guitars were straight into the desk.
Yeah,
everything was synthetic. The voices were sort of ethereal up there, and there was no. It just sounded like it just sort of floated by, and it wasn't. Obviously, the track listing, the sequencing was. I mean, you couldn't sequence it any worse. That Hot Fun in the Summertime, a really bizarre, awful cover version of Sly and the Family Stone song, right?
Oh,
And then
yeah.
this awful modern with the right said Fred a modern version of Surfing, which is one of their early songs, and then Summer of Love, the one with the rapping, and then the first it's the sequencing was the problem with it. I personally think that after track 3, from Island Fever onwards, it's all right. What did
I can talk.
Jules, I mean, I'm going to assume that it was a very, very different beast in 1992 than it is now. I mean, what will it have been like then? Yeah.
No one here is really able to answer that.
Well,
No.
I think by the fact it's been unre-released, forgotten about, and no one mentions it apart from people like us slagging it off. I think that might say it can't have been any good then. Surely it can't. Well, we were listening to music in 1992, and this didn't rock anyone's world that I know.
Steve, what did you think of the cover of Under the Boardwalk?
Me?
Yeah.
It was awful. Well,
okay, other Steve, what did you think of the cover of Under the Boardwalk?
Awful. All three of them.
Okay, Ross, what did you think of the cover of Under the Boardwalk?
Have you heard the UK version of this?
I have, yes. It's slightly different.
Yeah, it's slightly different. I actually on the UK version, I actually realised it was Under the Boardwalk, which it took me quite some time. It's like the way when people go to see Bob Dylan these days, they say you're applauding the end of the song when you've worked out what it is. It was a bit like that. It's like, oh yeah, okay, right, this is it. I mean, I think there are terrible things in this album, but I don't think it's terrible as a piece. I think it's just a little bizarre, and I think Under the Boardwalk probably fits that description for me.
I completely agree with you. It's so weird with Under the Boardwalk. It's like they've said, let's do Under the Boardwalk, and everyone's gone, yeah, and then they sort of haven't done it. They've just sort of. It doesn't really. They don't really do anything. It's sort of they go onto the boardwalk. We'll be having some fun, and they don't really. It's just so odd. So odd, but I agree with you. I don't think. I also agree with everything you're saying. Can someone say something else, please? Because I'm very confused about this.
It's a rhetorical question. I mean, there's not a great deal to say about this album, is there? In all honesty, were you one of these people who? Okay, were you one of these people who made? I presume you were. Your own smile tape, or what you thought smile?
Oh God.
Yeah.
I used to burn people. The days of CD burns. I used to make CDRs with my. I think I'll probably force on Steve. You probably can't remember. I used to I had this perfect version that I did. I used to print out a cover and make it and do my own thing and give it to people. And everyone was like, "Yeah, lovely." Yeah.
Be remotely anywhere near like the album when it was released?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah. But the finished album, I think, justified the hype. One of those really weird, rare occasions where this long lost album, the mythical album, comes out and is just as good as it was meant to be, perhaps even more so. Transcends the hype, I think. I mean, I think it's an absolutely unimpeachable masterpiece as well. And the fact it never was quite finished and kind of adds to the romance and mystery of the whole thing.
That's true.
So, can I just ask you? When you had your massive obsession then with the Beach Boys, what was your other musical taste at that? How long did it last, and what was your other musical taste at that time? I'm trying to work out where this sits in your.
Well, it's not terribly interesting to the world, but I suppose it would have been 2001, 2002, that sort of time. It lasted about 5-6 years. I was listening to all sorts of stuff. Once I sort of escaped metal, as it were. I'm very eclectic. I kind of got through a lot of musical history very quickly. Yeah, it caught up with lost time. Do you know what I mean? And but Brian Wilson, when I kind of got into it, I kind of got into it via the 70s stuff. Really, Sunflower record was my kind of, I guess, was my
entry point. Yeah,
which I recommend. If you don't know Sunflower, it's a very different vibe to Pet Sounds. That kind of baroque.
No, just because I've actually tried to listen to Pet Sounds a couple of times and I just can't do it. I don't like it.
It's a very specific sound. It's that Phil Spector.
I know.
Formal
baroque. I don't rate Phil Spector. He does nothing, and everyone goes on about him as a producer, but his sound and style does absolutely nothing for me. Never has.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't. But wasn't Zappa a big doo-wop fan?
Yeah, but not in a more pure way than that.
Okay.
And also, well, no, no, that's where all that's another can of worms for another podcast. I think if we get into
Okay.
what things. No point.
We
We'll
must do
stick
Zappa at some
stick
point.
to this. We'll stick to this. Yeah.
So Seb, with your Brian Wilson knowledge, lyrically, who's the best person he works with? I mean, because like there's like Mike Love's going to get a lot of stick here, but I think Mike Love, especially in the very early Beach Boys, had a nice turn of phrase when he's talking about cars, girls, and beaches. I think he struggles when he's trying to do more. Is it Van Dyke Parks or
Van Dyke Parks wrote the lyrics, a lot of the lyrics for Smile, where they're so obtuse, like Surfs Up. You know, the lyrics for Surfs Up, which Mike Love absolutely hated because they were kind of pretentious, intellectual, and kind of scatological. Tony Asher, who was this kind of ad guy that Brian knew, wrote all the lyrics for Pet Sounds. Literally, he worked for an advertising agency, and Brian met him, and it was like, yeah, he wrote. But Mike Love, yeah, absolutely. He wrote the lyrics to Good Vibrations, which, of course, he then mentioned famously at Brian Wilson's funeral. He in his eulogy, he actually just whinged about. He said, "Do you know I wrote all the lyrics to Good Vibrations?" And Al Jardine got very cross, and it was, it's typical Mike Love, So I don't think Beach Boys lyrics are some of the most respected lyrics generally. I mean, I think they're sort of they fulfill a function. I mean,
So Good Vibrations and all the stuff that everyone likes. Who arranged that, and
that's all Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson did all of that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. It was Brian Wilson did everything up until Smile, which was the album which was conceived after Pet Sounds. Smile was his big, right, I'm just gonna, his big kind of mix up of, like, Charles Ives and Gershwin and doo-wop and everything. All American music is going to be one kind of conceptual whole, but the weight of that plus his kind of burgeoning mental health issues meant that he just never finished it. It was just manana, 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 the era, late 60s, all the people he was surrounded with, and the pressure and the fact that Mike Love and no one understood what was happening because Pet Sounds had been commercially a disappointment compared to all the Surf Sun and before. So after Smile, he really basically kind of, that was it. And he kind of only contributed intermittently to subsequent albums. And in fact, for the next kind of 3 or 4 albums, when the Beach Boys, because they kept on going to touring, they grew beards and got all early 70s tastic. And they would try and make albums, but then they cherry pick songs that hadn't been all the old Smile albums. They kind of picked over and released them as songs for those subsequent Beach Boys albums, and they did really good jobs, good versions of them. I prefer actually some of the Beach Boys, the 70s Beach Boys versions of the Smile tracks, but
Cabin Essence, I'm thinking as well.
Oh yeah, all that sort of stuff. And but they kind of, the Beach Boys kind of continued really, and they got some session players in. And Mike Love, to be fair to him, he carried on the band, and they toured through the 70s, a massive like 10-piece band, conga players, field backing vocalists, and they played the big shows, and and they were, and Brian would join in when he could, and they didn't disgrace themselves. They didn't disgrace themselves until around this time, until the early 80s. The 80s sound.
Well, they lost they have a hit with the album before picked up by a film. Was it Cocktail?
That was Kokomo. That was Kokomo. That was in the film Cocktail. Yeah.
Keep that vibe going, which is a fatal mistake, isn't it? That a lot of,
and that was the big problem. That was the problem for Mike Love, because Brian Wilson was AWOL at that time, and they had a song, this really shit Mike Love headed Beach Boys sort of called Kokomo, which he wrote himself, and it was in Cocktail, and it went to #1.
Yeah.
So Mike Love, who'd already been struggling with his ego in a sense, he was like, I was right. They didn't. Who's Brian Wilson? He's a fat loser on drugs in California. He's been in bed for 6 years, and I'm #1, and all the chicks love me, which is why we got that video and the next album. Honestly, because that the last thing that happened to Mike Love, he was #1 in his fucking 50s with Kokomo on the Tom Cruise film, Cocktail. So it's like he was like, well, here I am with these Baywatch chicks. I'm gonna rap about pretending to have sex with them. While Marcus smiles in sunglasses in the background. And Brian Wilson's put on a chair on the beach.
so tragic, really. But there you go.
But that
could be the shortest podcast, I think, here of the series. We're getting thin on material, aren't we?
Well,
that's a good rule of entertainment there, Marcus. Bring it up. Bring up your shortfalls in front of everybody.
Well, it's just I think our 40 subscribers have probably noticed it already, Steve.
I don't think there's any reason. I feel I've been talking a lot because as a big fan. So I think we should. Anything people want to say before we go on to scores? Ross, have you got anything else to say about this?
I do wonder about what the audience is for this, because I get the feeling with the Beach Boys, they're so diverse in what they did in terms of periods that there's going to be a lot of people who the Beach Boys is Surfing USA and fun. And there's going to be other people who the Beach Boys are Pet Sounds and Smiley Smile and Smile and those things.
Ross, you're missing the point. Kokomo was #1, mate. Like
the
year before.
Yeah, no.
It's for people who don't like music. It's for people who are in care homes. People who don't want to be challenged. People who buy it, but they'll buy a CD in Walmart. Oh, it's the Beach Boys.
No, I think it's because it got picked up by the film and everything. That film I'd never seen Cocktail, but it was massive at the time, wasn't it? It was
I've not seen it.
It was a huge hit. It was all over if anyone remembers that period, Cocktail was just everywhere. And it, again, if it's a questionable film club, it might be worth a look. So I can't see was it Tom Cruise making a few cocktails and getting off with a girl? Is that basically it? Have you seen it, Marcus?
I have, yes. That's exactly it. That's exactly the part. How'd you work that out? Okay.
But it was the big film, so they sort of talk, because I think it was in my extensive research, it was released before and flopped, and then picked up by the film. But I think what Ross has hit on there is a very good point, where they've just got it so wrong because of the sales of it. Obviously, they just missed. They kind of had a lot to aim at, audience wise, and they've just completely missed it.
Completely. Well, Steve, if you listen to the album, which I don't suggest you do, if you listen to the album before this, it's the same. The album before that, which is just called The Beach Boys, it was the same. You know how 80s technology really fucked up 70s bands?
Yeah.
Right. The Beach Boys is an example, an archetypal example of how that is, especially when their previous creative leader decides to go. You got Mike Love, just an ego maniac, talentless, fucking money chasing cunt, cynical fucking cunt, just chasing the money, and let's use these big 80s productions to manifest that. They didn't care about. They'd long stopped caring about the music. You know what I mean? It's like he's very much California Gene Simmons.
That's obvious.
So I think we can go on to scores and summings up and favourite songs. By the way, yeah. So we're gonna have scores and favourite songs. Steve Gibson, we'll start with you. Favourite song, please. First of all,
the one with the rap in it, I guess. Just for the sheer jaw on the floor factor, and my score's obviously 0. The worst. I can't think of an album that's worse that I've ever heard. Nothing.
Honestly, ever heard? You've never heard the worst album in there?
Yeah.
Hold on, you gave last week's 0.
No, I didn't.
I did.
Didn't you?
No,
Seb did. Okay, yeah. Okay.
No, Steve gave Mumford and Sons.
5 for annoying Jerry Damas.
2. You gave it 2 out of 100.
2 for annoying Jerry Damas. Yeah.
So this is scored.
Yeah, but even that is like there's just they're attempting to do something. They're attempting to go indie. But this is just, well, it's just awful. It's so poor on the production, the songs. The first song, I listened to the original, and I think in Beach Boy fan world, they don't even consider that to be a great, very strong first single. So why they picked that, I don't know, because given the 80s treatment, it's just dire. It's just so, oh god, just.
I imagine that Sly Stone's idea of hot fun in the summertime was very, very different from.
I did listen to the original of that as well. I did hear the original of that, and I don't really like Sly Stone, but at least there was some substance to their version. But
it's not a great song in the first place, is it?
No, it's not. It's not.
So let's really fuck it up for history. Yeah. Steve Hackett, what was your favourite song?
Well, there you go. I mean, I am a big Sly Stone fan, but I do agree it's not one of his greatest. But Jesus Christ, that version's terrible. You can sort of forgive them for massacring, the sort of classics, but 2 of their own songs as well. Fucking awful. I'm going to give this a naught. I've never done that before, but I am for this. I could find absolutely nothing. I haven't got a favourite song, but Still Surfing About the Old Surfer is the least offensive on the album.
Can I just say one thing as well? I will quantify the fact by saying that this is the worst album I've heard, but I wasn't on the Happy Mondays episode. So I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion.
I have a sneaking suspicion too that would not be one of our favourite albums had you been there. Ross, we've got 2 zeros.
Well, yeah, I'm going to up the. Well, I'm not going to up the average, really, am I? So I'm going to give it 10. I'm with Steve, and I think that Still Surfing has something to say about it, but I can't go past Forever, because Forever, whatever they did with the production on that, I still love that song. And so yeah, so Forever's my favourite song, and 10 points from me.
Marcus, favourite song?
I think there's a
lot of love for Still Surfing.
Well, I can't be persuaded. It's Summer in Paradise. I think it's for such a serious message, it actually is comical, and that's quite a clever thing to do. So,
did it make you recycle? Have you considered going vegan because of that?
Well, I thought about flying less actually, so that might be a good thing as a consequence. But
because they might be on the flight
to Southampton.
This might be on the in the movie. So Summer in Paradise, top thing. I'm gonna go. I think this might well be my lowest score, but I'm not gonna go for a 0. I think that's just too easy because there was something. I didn't get totally offended by it, so I'm gonna give it 3.
Okay. Well, I thought it was badly sequenced. I thought the first 3 songs, the cover of Surfing, was really bad. But I did kind of approach it as comical, which I sort of enjoyed. And I thought Island Fever was a pretty good song. Still Surfing, good lyric. Nice. Slow Summer Dancing's all right. Strange Things Happen, I quite liked. I quite liked their version of Remember Walking in the Sand. I thought that was okay. And I think the song Lahaina Aloha is by far the best song on the album. It's actually a good pop song. I think Brian Wilson wouldn't be ashamed of that. It's cohesive. It doesn't sound terrible. It's actually a good pop song, and that Carl Wilson sings beautifully. Under the Boardwalk is brilliant because they just haven't done it. It's a sort of strange holding pattern of dead air. Summer in Paradise is funny, and I thought Forever. I always love hearing Forever. I love the fact they did a key change in it, and it comes with power chords and stuff. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it walking around in the rain and darkness today. I listened to it 3 times just today, and I like this record. I have to say, I'm slightly ashamed to say, the first 3, even the Mike Love Megalomania, the awful tragedy of it, that video, it just gives me joy and happiness. I love the Beach Boys. I love them all standing on the beach, just in this tragic thing. And I'm going to give it 62. I know. So,
Seb,
yes,
you're on the naughty step with Marcus now. From now, I think we can't really have this and friends. I know. I understand. To be honest with you, I understand. This has been a very difficult episode for you, so we'll accept that. But the other thing, and also as a not gracious nod to you, obviously we can't put one of these songs on the playlist because because no one, it's only thanks to bootleggers and I've never seen so many negative comments in my life, and that's saying something. So would you choose a Beach Boys song to go on the playlist? Maybe something that Happier Day.
Do you know what I'll choose? What I'll choose is, can I just say my favourite song? That's a good call, Steve. I will do that. But my favourite song, I'm going to go with, I would choose Lahaina Aloha, which is my favourite song. But I'm actually going to go with Marcus and go Summer in Paradise, which gives us a tie for favourite song. So I think we should go with that one because it's the one where Mike Love sings the titles, all the songs he's written.
Yeah, but we can't. It's not on Spotify, so.
Oh, sorry, see, that's what you're saying. Sorry, pardon me, I was doing my calculator stuff. So I'm going to choose the original version of Forever from Sunburn.
Oh, okay, we'll put that on there as a nod to a once great band.
Exactly.
We'll see them all in Southampton, shall we? What are they doing, Ross? They're doing the whole of
Pet Sounds.
Right. Are you tempted at all?
But what with a band or with backing tapes or what? This is so
I
fucking bizarre.
no, I don't know. I think Love and Johnson are playing, so I imagine there's a whole band on.
That's
I will
so
endeavour to
bizarre.
find out and report back to the club.
Yeah, please do, because I might be up for it.
Oh.
You know, just in a sort of like drive by. You know,
You have to do it sort of way, yeah.
depends how much it is. Anyway, by the way, that gives us a total. We've got a 0, a 0, a 10, a 3, and a 63. So that gives us a total of 15 out of 100. I'm just having a look where that puts this. Okay, this puts it. Oh, it's level with the Sisters of Mercy vision thing. So this puts it equal 22nd. So we've got, if I just put it here, so there we go.
Wow.
Sisters of Mercy. It's all backwards now. So it's better than Oasis, better than Pink Floyd, better than Yngwie Malmsteen, and better than Mumford & Sons.
But not as good as Genesis.
Not quite as good as Genesis.
Valiant effort there, Seb. Valiant effort.
Thank you, and thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve, for the choice and for I've had a lot of fun with this. I'm sorry if no one else has.
Seb, just another quick question on this. Carl and the Passions, is that regarded as a Beach Boys album or a solo album?
It's a Beach Boys album. It's just called Carl and the Passions. So tough. Yeah, it's just called Carl and the Passions. So tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's confusing, but it's Carl and the Passions by the Beach Boys.
Okay.
It is.
I always wondered, and I thought you might be the one to ask.
Yeah, it is just a Beach Boys album. It just is. I was going to look it up and show you, but it is.
Yeah.
Right. So for the next episode, we're doing something different for the Christmas episode. Instead of somebody choosing the usual structure that we're doing something all new for Christmas, and we'll have a kind of special Christmas special, cute question around Christmas special. So what we've all got to do, we're talking about one-hit wonders / novelty songs. We've all got to choose our favourite one-hit wonder / novelty song, and a song we love, a one-hit wonder that we love, and a one-hit wonder that we hate. And that's what we're going to talk about. Steve, do you want to talk about this a bit more?
Yeah, there's quite a few playlists on Spotify for one-hit wonders, and I looking at it thinking there's a few angles to take. You can have a few honorable mentions. 70s and 80s seem to be, when we were growing up, seem to be that. I don't think that happens anymore. And the thing that interested me was I was looking at some playlists thinking, well, that's not a one-hit. Well, that band isn't a one-hit wonder band. But then I thought, oh, that's someone in America's done that playlist, or someone else has done that playlist. And it's quite interesting to see. And then you research it a little bit more to see which bands are considered one-hit wonders in different countries, where here they had a string of hits, you know. So there's a bit to talk about there. People's embarrassing closet likes and they hates, few honorable mentions, and the death of the one-hit wonder and novelty song will be quite.
And for anybody who's not on the panel, we're gonna get everyone who, all our kind of big broader panel. We're gonna ask get everybody.
Everyone.
So even people who aren't on the episode next time, we'll get their song they love and song they hate.
Everyone's going to be asked to be on it, so we can set a date. Everyone can make, so it's going to be because it's a slightly more vague topic. There's not going to be I first heard it around my nan's, blah blah blah. It's going to be a bit more bullet pointy and hopefully.
Okay, so it's an ensemble.
Yeah.
It's going
to be a bit like when those bands do the tours and they bring in like, here's our guitarist from 1972 and our drummer from the 80s, and it's going to be everybody piling in, and the screen's going to be full of.
It's like
there's going to be two more people on it, basically.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
It's like all the Beach Boys lined up on the beach, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's going to be Brian Wilson sitting in the chair? Well, Simon, I think.
Can you edit that out, Ross? Can you edit that out?
Do you mean bands or songs by one-hit wonders?
Whatever. Songs, novelty stuff. Songs, yeah.
One song you love, one song you hate.
Yeah, it's simple.
You could have a couple of honourable mentions, but that's not because there's going to be more of us. It has to be we have to keep it.
Can I ask a technical question?
Yes.
Are we taking this literally? They're not allowed to have another top 40 hit. Is that what we're saying?
Ooh.
Bass, yeah, but you can, you know what I mean? It's sort of, you can bend the rules a bit.
Oh, good.
If someone has a massively famous one-hit wonder hit, then creeps into the top 75 a month later with some shit that never really, then whatever.
Yeah, Ross, it can't be a band that you love who's just weirdly had one kind of number 37 hit, and then a one-hit wonder. Technically, they're a one-hit wonder. I've got 17 of their albums, but actually, technically, it's got to be fucking.
The idea of it is a bit of fun, so we don't want some obscure indie band that, as you said, had a little hit, and then
exactly.
I'll have a rethink.
We're talking about when you liked Grandma and whatever, So.
Yeah, we're talking "Shut Up Your Face," not a fucking aeroplane over the sea, Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. That's it.
Does that barrage answer your technical question, Ross?
It does. I'll go back to the drawing board.
Right. Thanks, everyone. That was fun. Thank you, Steve Hackett. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Steve Gibson. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ross. Thank you.
Thank you, gents.
Special guest Al Jardine. Thank you, mate. Love your work. Love your work. And we'll please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.